Okay, in this video we're going to talk about a couple other kinds of shakers that we're going to run into fairly frequently. Lots of music is going to have a textural layer that I'll call motoric rhythms or motor rhythms. Something where somebody in the ensemble, usually a percussionist, that is one of our jobs after all, that has the straight subdivision of what is happening. So if you listen to like a salsa band from the maraca player and the güiro player, right? So that's a motoric rhythm. If you listen to jazz or rock, whatever's happening on the cymbals in the drum set, or those are all examples of motor rhythms. And so we have a number of instruments in percussion that help us do that. Shakers, maracas, güiro, sandpaper blocks, the afuche, right? These are all instruments that are capable of playing motor rhythms. The sleigh bells even to an extent. All right, so we'll talk about a couple of those instruments here. We'll start off basic with the idea of the shaker. Shakers come in an incredible variety of sizes, shapes, what material is inside the shaker, how they make... and how that affects the sounds. What is the outside of the shaker made out of? But again, a couple of basic principles predominate. So we have a closed object here. In this case, it's just an aluminum tube filled with beans. And so there's a couple of things that we can do with the shaker. The basic technique is to outline the rhythm, and the sort of mnemonic that we use for that is it's yours, so you're giving it to the person. And then it's mine. It's yours, it's mine, right? So if I take the shaker, right? And so you can hear we get a nice articulate rhythm as the material inside the shaker goes out and back, right? And so of course I can speed it up. I can play all even notes. I'll turn sideways too, that might affect the sound a little bit. Or by relaxing my wrist, I can accent and unaccent notes. If you need to play a sustain of some variety, you can shake it. This instrument is called the Shake It. Right, so that's the basic idea of the shaker. There's a variation of the shaker that sort of combines the shaker and the güiro. This is basically a modification of an instrument called a güira, with an A at the end instead of an O, that is used very frequently in Dominican merengue music. Sorry, name escaped me there for a moment. And so again, it's a serrated metal surface that you actually play with. Let's get in a spot where you can see it. With a hair pick. Does the same thing as a güiro, it's just a little bit richer sound. And then it also combines a shaker, so you can all right, so that's an instrument you may see called for every once in a while. Usually it'll say scraper or something like that, implying that you need a hair pick or something else in order to scrape the sound. Last instrument for this video is maracas. Again, come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes and materials. Everything from rawhide to hollowed out gourds. These are, of course, modern plastic analog by Latin Percussion. These yellow ones are sort of the industry standard. Again, like claves and finger cymbals, they will be pitched, so there's a high and a low. And so typically you'll see a young player hold them at the bottom and shake them for all they're worth. But that's actually not the best technique to use in a band situation. You want to hold them up a little bit higher, at the base of the actual shaker, not way down here in the handle where you have to exert more control. You'll have much more control if you hold them higher. And you want to play with as articulate a technique as you can with one maraca at a time. So you don't want to shake them together. Unless you want something really loud. You'll just play them one at a time. If you want gravity to help make your sound articulate, you can play them horizontal. Again, if you want a little less articulate, you can open them up. And so how much wrist you use will determine how articulate they are. If you want something with even more articulation, you can put your foot up on a chair and then play on your leg, just like castanets. But that's not very typical. Rolls or sustained sounds on the maracas come by shaking the instrument in a round fashion. And again, this is not a perfect science. Again, like all percussion instruments, we don't have a true sustain. But we have various swirling effects we can do to get that idea. If you want something really loud, then you just shake them for all they're worth. All right, so that's the maracas.